Hi there, welcome back to Sunnyside Journals and what's on my desk. I'm going to do a little bit more work on innocence and experience. Hold on, I'm grabbing my chair. I'm way back here. All right, so I'm trying to remember where I left off with this book because I sort of put it aside for a few days and I'm not sure where I left off. With explaining what I'm doing. So if I'm repetitious, my apologies. And this is going to look strange to you, but it's something I do sometimes. So this text block has all been taken apart, but it was still a good shape to keep inside the cover. I found through sad experience, I use baskets to keep my projects in. For example, actually, here's the basket for Innocence and Experience. So, oh, there's that ruler. I was looking for that ruler. Here's the basket that I'm using right now. Well, sometimes if I'm not careful, and I've taken the time to work on a spine and get it re-strengthened and rebuilt, I will just take the empty book cover and put it in my basket. I'm going to work on that later. And sometimes, especially back when I used to use Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 in my shoulder joints, it could alter the shape. Like if it lands like this, the book cover will want to always have a tilt like that. So I find that as long as I can remember now, and I really, usually it takes a bad experience for your brain to think, oh, I didn't like that bad experience. Do you know what I mean? So I will just tuck even part of it. Like this isn't the whole text block because obviously together we took out all those really cool pages that are going to go into the signatures. So anyhow, that's why this is still in there, and I'll hang on to these until I'm completely done the book. If the new owner wants some pages, I'm usually happy to throw some in with the journal when it goes to its new home, whenever possible. And then I also use them in crafting, and I also use them to shred and pad books when I ship them. So the text blocks get well used. Now, I have put in the new spine backing, the liner. You know me, I love a beautiful curved spine that has a little oomph to it. I just love the look of it. And that is kind of a cheaty way. Let me show you something. A professional bookbinder will actually get that curve that's on that spine from hammering the text block. What they'll do is, imagine this text block is sewn together. They will then put it into a press like this, and then they have like a mallet, and they will start hammering the sides of the text block until they get that lovely curved shape. Here, let me show you. I have one over here, a text block that is in that shape. It sort of reminds me of a mushroom. Oh, hold on. Come on out. Here's one. It's still all intact. And see how it already has that curved shape, and then it goes in a little bit here because it's been in the press. Imagine my fingers are the press, and then they hammer it with the mallet and encourage that curved shape. Well, that's what will give a beautifully bound old book that lovely curved shape. Well, I'm not going to do that. First of all, I don't put the amount of pages back in that the publisher put in originally. And so pounding on it it's just not going to be good. This achieves that beautiful look, protects your text block, and I don't have to get any weapons, you know, to pound on things. So that's why that's there. Some people don't like that, and that's quite all right. If you just want to put a new liner in there of just a sheet of paper and glue it in, that's fine. You'll have a nice flat text block. Here, imagine this one. See how this is just my bullet journal. See how it's mostly just flat. The text block itself is flat. It hasn't been pounded. And that's a fine book. And that's a look that some people prefer. So there you go. There's my little sunny side lesson for the day. Now, here's another thing that I will do with my journals. This probably looks very strange to you. I will, when I assess the shoulders, the fabric at the shoulder joints of an older book, I will lift it up to the window and see if I can see through this. And I am starting to be able to with Innocence and Experience. And so because of that, I anticipate that through use, this fabric is going to continue to start wearing. So what I will do in such a case is sometimes I'll use a patterned fabric that's pretty, so that if and when and if this fabric here continues to wear away, the fabric that's underneath it will be pretty. Like I've done that with pretty fabric, flowery, that sort of thing. Or else camouflagey fabric too, which is just sort of a blurry pattern. In this case, because this book is black and I like the blackness of it, what I've done here is I just used a permanent marker, acid-free marker, and I just drew black bands on there. And the reason why is I'm going to glue this in right now together. We will do it together. I'm going to glue that in there, and that way the black band area, see where I have this black, it's facing out. And that way, if and when this fabric on the top layer continues to wear, if the underneath fabric, which is newer, begins to be exposed, it's actually black fabric. So it won't be so glaringly, you know, oh, what's that snow white layer under there? Because it would have been snow white. There's the original color. This is just cotton. This is just a plain cotton. Sometimes I'll use a really fine woven cheesecloth. I have some of that too. And sometimes, you know, I just grab cotton out of my basket. And there, you know what? I wish I could say that there's an absolute reason why I choose what I choose. Usually it's whatever I can grab the quickest. I do find that this kind of fabric is easier to work with and easier to glue in if you take a second and iron it and maybe give it a light spray of some spray starch. It gives you a little bit more to hold on to, and it holds its rectangular shape rather than trying to stretch out of shape. It's just easier to work with. So, all right, so I need all my different glues. I usually will use 3 different glues when I'm doing this step on a book. So the first part that I will glue in is I will glue in these little bands here. I'll glue them down. So I'm just going to use, this is 3-in-1, Fabri-Tac 3-in-1. I use them interchangeably. And I'm just going to lightly glue this down. Doesn't need a lot. I just want to hold it down. Oh, let's put you out of the way. We'll talk about you later. Come on. Come on out. There we go. better. All right. So now I'm going to glue it down just onto this curved liner that I created. Now I'm going to lay this here so that I know where my top and bottom is. So approximately here. Doesn't need to be overly glued. You just want it to hold, and it will. Don't worry about thinking this is going to have to hold like crazy. It just needs to be secure. There we go. And then I'm black side towards there. So like I said, so that when it starts to wear, it will wear with the dark side out. Now, another trick that you can do if you have a book like that and you're not enjoying the that the fabric is changing color where it's wearing off, I find just a nice rubbing of Distress ink makes it look really nice. Just making sure that fabric is well applied to the edges of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my text block back in. And again, just well apply it. And then let it finish drying. So I do, when I'm putting cotton, muslin, mall into a spine, I do it in 3 steps and let it dry in between each step. So we'll find something else to do for now. I want to look over all the chapters that we chose for this book and figure out which ones I want and for what. So I do want this. I do have the extra challenge that whoever owned it wrote their name right there. But that can be, I can deal with that because we can put a fussy cut over that and it'll look cool. Because this is the part that I love, 1934. So it looks like it was originally published in 1913 when it was first published. So I do want that for the first signature. I like this dedication, and I think I'd like to maybe make a tag out of it because it's very, pro-woman, and I like that. That's cool. So I'm looking for, oh, and I love making tags out of the contents. It's just, that's a fun background for a journaling tag. Not sure about this. Now, this is where I've got to decide. How many did I say? I think I said I wanted 9 signatures, and then I changed my mind for 7 because it's 1.5 inches wide. So that gives me 1 extra. It bumps me up to my uneven, which I like. So I have my template made, and I decided on 7. Now I'll pick out the ones I like. I like that one, White Tulip. I'll pick out the ones I like, and then I'll probably send the rest. Oh, we've got to have the Angel of the Darker Drink. And I love Brother Leo because I have a cute grandson named Leo. The Wild Bird, I like that. Oh, double life. Ooh, that sounds a little... Does she look like she's leading a double life? The gate. Now, some of these can also be made into tags. The liqueur glass. Well, we already have the angel of the darker drink, so I'm not sure I'll use the liqueur glass. A little piece of tulle. I like that. The visitation. A game of skill. The battlefield. The residue. A last gift. Oh, that's the one I liked for the last... signature. My goodness. My brain, it must be too early in the morning. I'm just going to put that there. Okay, so I need 7. Let's see how many I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I've got to pick 1 to go because that's staying. Visitation, a little piece of tulle. I do like a little piece of tulle. Double life. I love the wild bird. I love Brother Leo. I love the angel of the darker drink. I love the white tulip. So, double life or the visitation. Double life, visitation. Double life. Okay, and I'm not sure what orders I want them in. I want the white tulip, the wild bird, a little piece of tulle, Brother Leo, no, double life, then Brother Leo, angel of the darker drink. Oh, maybe I want angel of the darker drink after double life, and then a last gift. All right, there we go. So those are going to be our signatures. Now I need a pencil. One, 2. You know what? Those are hard to read. Hold on. This will be easier to read. That dark pink is quite dark. 1. 2. 3. You know what? I haven't even checked my screen to make sure I'm in camera. I am! Yay! Whew. All that work could have been for naught. 3. 4. 5. The arrow, I haven't mentioned in a long time why I do the arrow, so maybe I'll mention that again. The arrow is for when it comes time for me to sew these to the template. It reminds me to make sure I've got the top at the top. It's as simple as that. And until you've sewn in a signature upside down onto your template, yeah, that is heartbreaking. It's not a game ender. You can cut your threads and re-sew, but nobody likes having to do that. So the arrow reminds me, make sure that that's sticking up with the rest of the Post-it notes. 5, cheapers. See, I'm talking too much. 6, 7. Boy, that white's easier to see on that dark pink, that's for sure. There we go. All right, now let's see if our spine has dried enough to put the PVA. So for the hinges, I like PVA in the hinges. I just find it's a little more flexible. I like it. Now I want this little guy. These are terrific. You don't have to worry that you haven't washed them before you shut off the lights for the night, because it'll just peel off. It's wonderful. All right, so a thin line of PVA into your shoulder groove. And then I make sure it's right down in there, because I want that that nice dent there. I love a nice crisp dent on the shoulder groove, and you sort of have to keep reminding it that that's what you want it to do, because it might go, oh, I'm feeling very relaxed. This is kind of damp and relaxing, like a and then you'll lose your beautiful shoulder groove. I want a bit more over here. You'll lose that lovely shoulder groove. Your book will still work, but there's just something very attractive about a nice crisp shoulder groove. Come on. So you don't have to overdo it with the PVA. I find it actually holds better if you don't overdo it. There we go. Down, 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 and then I push in there. Make sure it's all well applied, and then over I go. And you know what's a good ruler for this next step is if you've got this Tim Holtz ruler. That side with the metal strip is really terrific for making sure that your shoulder groove is groovy. You were waiting for me to say that, weren't you? So you're mostly just bending it and reminding it that this is what you want it to do, and it'll cooperate. See how I'm just holding it a bit and reminding it as it's drying that we like that. We like that groove, and that's what we want it to remember. All right, now this side. I wonder how I'm doing for time. Well, I guess my alarm will yell at me, and then I'll know how I'm doing for time. So, a little PVA down there. I'm going to put a little, just a little, and spread it around. So there's lots of crevices in here because of that fold. And I just want to make sure there's glue on all the surfaces of all those different angles there. So when it gets time to push it all together, it will like it. And that's why I find this thing is handy because, of course, the cover is cardstock and it's almost as if it has a little wall, right? It's thicker than that fabric that's on the front. So I want to make sure that there's glue along that side sort of wall. And that will give us that nice crisp shoulder seam again. So I'm just going to do this first, make sure it's in there, but I'm not going to push too hard. You'll push your dent the wrong direction, and we want the dent going that way. So then I'm going to get this again. And give us that nice. And then I'm going to start pushing here and making sure that it remembers that's what we want it to do. And ta-da! So, and then we will let that dry again. And I find PVA takes a little bit longer to dry. This is acetone based, so it evaporates, dries a little bit quicker, and which is why you get less warping on paper when you use this. So I won't be, it looks like, I'm looking at my alarm clock here, and it's going to go off in like 1 minute. So I'm not going to get this done, but you've seen me do this before. I usually will just use this again and glue down the rest of the shoulder fabric. But as I said, I'm going to give that PVA a little time to dry. I'm probably going to hold this upright while it dries because I want that shape that normally would have been created in a book press and with a hammer, a mallet. So I'm just going to push these together, and that forces those to remember what I want. So that's it for today for Innocence and Experience. And we'll pick up next time and we'll see where I'm off to. I'm going to be putting her on the cover. And so that's easy. I'm not sure whether I'll turn on the camera for it or not, because I simply use gel medium onto the cover, and then I plan on putting some vintage brads just as a little detail there, as I am accustomed to do when I like putting a nice masterpiece painting on the front of a journal, which I love doing. All right, yeah, I know. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go dismiss. Okay, well, listen, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining me. And I hope you're doing well and you're safe and healthy and everyone you love is. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.